Good afternoon, and welcome to the first regular board meeting of the Port Arthur EDC. May we have a roll call, please?
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Anderson, John Scherfers, Commissioner, Commissioner Dorsey, Commissioner Marks, Commissioner Wyckoff, Commissioner Pena,
Here.
Commissioner Smith, Chairman Holmes,
Sure.
Commissioner Stickler. Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We could stand for the invocation, please, Reverend Anderson.
God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. As always, we pray that you give us the insight, things you desire to be done. Help us to make the right decisions for your towns. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we welcome you to 2018. We know that this will be a productive year for the City of Port Arthur and the City of Port Arthur EDC. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our newest board member, Ms. Michelle Dorsey. Any comments, Ms. Dorsey? Thank you. Thank you, and we're very happy to have you. Also at this time,
I would like to introduce Andrew Vasquez, our financial director for the City of Port Arthur. He takes care of all our money. Thanks for coming, Andrew.
I wasn't prepared for this, but my name is Andrew Vasquez. I'm the new finance director of the City of Port Arthur. I've been here about 3 months. Now, my prior experience, I come from the City of Houston, where I work primarily in the controller's office, but I also have experience working with one of the large enterprise funds, the airports, and also in central accounting and central budget for the City of Houston. I have 8 years of experience. Prior to that, I was a controller of the water district in San Antonio. I worked for the city of Phoenix, Arizona, and prior to that, it was about 13 years of manufacturing. I started my career with one of the big accounting firms, Deloitte. I'm a CPA. I have a degree in accounting from San Diego State University. I have 2 sons who go to Kansas State University, so I'm a Big 12 fan, if anybody else here is one of those as well. But I'm happy to be here. I find that the people of the City of Port Arthur are very welcoming. There's a lot of opportunity here. I think I can do some really good things for the city, and I have a vision that I think could really help. And part of that vision, you know, the city sometimes gets some bad press in the news, but I think with the added transparency, I think, and more information given to those who are making the decisions, I think we could help in that, turn the direction of adding some positive things to the city and turning it around. Do you have any questions?
Welcome.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And welcome to the City of Port Arthur.
Thank you.
Also, at this time, I'd like to ask that we remember Mr. Smith, who had a minor procedure today, in our prayers, please. Dallas Smith, one of our board members. You've all received a copy of the minutes of the December 4th meeting. May I have a motion, please?
Would they be approved?
It's been moved and second to approve the minutes of the December 4th meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Any presentations? Mr. Baptiste, there are no presentations tonight? Okay, communications?
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we have a letter from the MLK group for a brunch that's going to be held on the 15th at Lamar State College, Port Arthur. This board have annually purchased a table. I think it was $2,000, the bronze, and my recommendation is to get a table for you guys again this year.
Make a motion.
It's been moved and second to approve getting a table for the January 15th meeting. All the in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
The second communication, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, is from the Southeast Texas Economic Development Forecast Breakfast. I think several of you guys have signed up for this thing on the 17th at 7 a.m. at the Event Center in Beaumont. If any, I think that the number of available seats are full. I'm not sure. If I have Mr. Pena, Mr. Wyckoff, Ms. Holmes, John Sherfitz, and David, you guys have signed up. If any of the rest of you guys want to go, let us know tomorrow and we'll call. I think it's full to capacity. Put Kenneth down there and let's check and see if there's room for Kenneth. Tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, okay. That's all the communication you have, Madam.
Move on to the non-consent agenda items. Agenda item number 1, Mr. Baptiste.
Madam Chairman, if the board doesn't mind, we could take 1 and 2 together. Is that okay, guys?
Yes, sir. And for the pleasure of the board and for our new member, we are engaged, Ms. Leverett and I, by the board, and we do that on an annual basis. Apparently, thanks to the city of Port Arthur and its finance department, it escaped our notice that we had not renewed as of November 1st, 2017, our contract. And so the reason for item 1 is for you to approve the payments for services rendered after the expiration date of the current engagement, again ending November 1, 2017, through the end of the calendar year. And then we have presented to you an engagement letter typical of that we have used previously. But Mr. Baptiste and I discussed, and again, this will be entirely the pleasure of the board and the approval of the city, that we added 2 one-year extensions to be exercised at the end of each term at the pleasure of the board to hopefully sort of simplify this for the future purposes. But we have appreciated the opportunity to work for the board. And again, for those that are new to the board, we've had the privilege of working with you all since 2005. So it has been a very great privilege to us. So thank you, and we do appreciate the opportunities.
I think, Madam Chairman and Board, I think the current balance for November and December is somewhere around $10,000, $11,000 that we owe Germer Gertz, and I'm asking you guys to approve that. We will, if approved, we will pay that out of this year's budget. If we run short this year, we make a budget adjustment at the end of the year.
I move we approve the payment and we approve the 2-year contract with Germer Law Firm.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve, number 1, the payment, number 2, the renewal of the professional services agreement. All those in favor?
Madam Chairman, could you amend it to say approve the contract with 2 1-year extension? It's not a 3-year contract.
Approve the contract with 2 1-year extensions.
Thank you. And Mr. Wyckoff, you'll second that?
Second. Excuse me.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
Number 3, Mr. Baptiste, to discuss for possible consideration increasing the current CDL training agreement with Lamar State College.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Board. Number 3 and number 4, again, Crystal been playing with the numbers, and I'm going to ask Crystal come and kind of explain what's going. It's similar to Germer Gertz. The city and everything on December 31st. So we have to make some adjustments in the way we do our contracts.
Good evening, Board. As some of you may know, and for our new director, we have a CDL training contract with Lamar State College, Port Arthur. They train CDL students, and we offer a not a stipend, it's actually a tuition grant for those Port Arthur residents that could use the assistance. We do screen them and approve those students. Last year, we approved, or you all approved, a contract with Lamar State College in the amount of $40,000. This year, as you will see on your agenda, we are asking you all to go ahead and approve for next year's upcoming contract as well and extend that contract. Now, for this current, the first item we have for you all to consider, the current contract, we actually had a mishap between Lamar State College and ourselves. We failed to realize that we went over budget as far as approving students. They enrolled 34 students, and we actually have some invoices, and we expect to have some more through the end of the month that we would like to ask you all to allow us to cover. And those would actually go towards the amount of $27,200. So we would like to increase the current contract by $27,200. And then also we'd like to ask you all to approve a new contract for the upcoming year in the amount of $60,000 rather than $40,000. Now, I've passed out to you today some information that Dr. Stafford, who is over the program at Lamar State College, he provided us with a couple of numbers as far as enrollment goes, how many have completed to date, how many are still in training, and also how many they've been able to find and locate who's working, because that's not really part of their program, but he did try to contact some of those who have already graduated and have their license to see if they're still working or not.
On the $60,000, that first, let me go back. First thing, the 27.2 going to be taken out of this year's budget,
Correct.
and the new contract going to be taken out of this year's budget. Crystal is asking for $60,000, and the way we want to write this agreement is enrollment cannot exceed $30,000 for the fiscal year. You know, they could enroll up to $30,000. Once they enroll up to $30,000, they cannot enroll anymore. Last year we didn't have a benchmark, and that's why we over-enrolled. This year we want to have a benchmark with dollars, saying you cannot enroll over, cannot bill us for enrollment for more than $30,000. Now, it may be $60,000, it may not be, because as you look at the graph that she presented to you guys, 4 of the clients dropped out. And the way we work with Lamar is we pay the initial enrollment, and when we pay 50% of the initial enrollment, and once they complete and graduate, we pay the other 50. So if you do not complete, you save some money. Everybody? Crystal?
Yes, so we're asking to approve up to $60,000, but they may not reach that because, again, just to clarify, like Mr. Baptiste just stated, they do receive half of the tuition cost once they enroll, and the other half once they receive their certification.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. On the first graph, it says there's still 14 in class, so that's past the 3 months. And are there any additional expenses that are incurred when they go
No.
past that 3 month?
No, it's the set tuition amount, and that is all that they're paid for.
Any other questions for Crystal?
Move we approve it.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Number 4, to discuss for possible consideration the renewal of CDL training agreement.
I move we approve that.
It's been moved and second that we approve agenda item number 4 for the renewal of the CDL training agreement with Lamar. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Texas Blue Crab Company.
Madam Chairman, in your packet, you receive a letter of intent from Texas Blue Crab Company We did, we did check the NEISC code. They do meet the economic development incentive, guidelines. I do have Miss Nikki Tran here, if you guys want to hear anything from her prior to making your decision.
Would you like to make any comments, Ms. Tran?
Hi, my name is Nikki Tran, and I am the president of the Blue Crab Company, and we ran this company more than 10 years. It's based in Orange, close to the Peggy Bayou, and we like to bring it close to home, which is Port Arthur. I live in Port Arthur, so I would like to have a business here under the Rainbow Bridge, and we would like to build, which is we can retail and wholesale, and we also have more than 20 crab boat, and we also sell to the public and to wholesale, and I also ship out through our 50 state through Southwest Airline. And I also have more than 4 farm in Louisiana that we pick up crawfish from, that I also retail here locally, and I also wholesale throughout 50 states. And I would like to have my base here in Port Arthur, and I'm hoping that to build here so I can grow here in Port Arthur, which is where I have came and raised from here. Thank you, and I always hope that EDC can able to.
Thank you, Ms. Tran. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Tran? Yeah, Mr. Marks.
Ms. Tran, you were operating in Orange for 10 years.
Yes, sir.
What impacted the decision to move to Port Arthur if you were already doing a good business in Orange?
Well, I'm in Orange, and I always wanted to be home because I know that in Port Arthur, I can set a bigger, better goal, and I can able to make my business grow here, which is to the community. To our community, we also have a large amount of customer that drive all the way from Port Arthur to Bridge City, that to come support us. And like I said, I always like to be home. I wasn't born here. I was born in Vietnam, but first I came. I was raised here in Port Arthur, so I was always like to have my business here, and especially close to the water. We have more than 20 crab boats. When it comes to season, we have about 35 crab boats that we buy from them for more than 10 years now.
Make a motion that we move forward with the letter of intent.
Second.
Moved and second to move forward with the letter of intent. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, to discuss for possible consideration authorizing the third renewal of the contract with Southeast Texas Building Services for janitorial services at 501 Proctor.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, Southeast Texas Building Service, they're currently our janitorial provider for this building. We have a 1 year with 2 options to renew, and this would be the third option, the last option, and we're asking you guys to consider to renew it for us. We're very pleased with the work they do.
We approve it.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 6. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for Standard Alloys
think there's someone here as well, possibly, but before we move to that, just for the benefit of the last agenda item for our new board member and just a mild refresher for the board, as you all know, we have a flow chart that we've worked up with the city on the manner in which we handle the request for incentives. What you have tonight is 3 different applications for our letters of intent that have made an application for a certain amount of incentive funds. The step you take tonight is to allow Mr. Baptiste, Kate and I, and the rest of the EDC staff to basically take the information in that short initial letter of intent and then move with the incentive applicants through that process, which includes receiving additional financial information, Mr. Baptiste placing all of that into his computer model that generates both capital investment credit and or job credits, or both, and then come up with a possible incentive proposal that will be discussed with the incentive applicant and brought back to you for consideration, and then that you develop with the staff the performance milestones over the period of time, not only the amount of job creation or capital investment, but when it must be completed, and then that's reduced. Normally Kate and Crystal and Floyd develop the incentive agreement and any related documents, whether they be letters of credit, other matters of collateral, because heretofore, and again, depending on the type of grant or loan, they have been securitized in some manner. So that's just sort of a kind of a precursor again, and so any of those that you all approve tonight, we will carry forward to those next steps.
Madam Chairman, on item number
7.
on your item, I do have Mr. Martinez with Standard Alloy. If you want to come before the board or tell them what you guys are trying to do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with y'all. I'm Richard Martinez. I'm the Managing Director and President of Standard Alloys Engineered Services. We're owned by KSB, which is the 4th largest pump company in the world. Some of you may or may not know us. We've been in operation since 1926, right down the street here with our foundry. And in the mid-'80s, we purchased a machine shop repair center in Vidor, Texas. And we've continued to operate and grow that facility over the years. Unfortunately, through the storms that we've been having, that facility has flooded more than 5 times. And this last time with more than 10 feet of water associated with Hurricane Harvey. So it is in our interest to move that facility from Vidor to the Port Arthur Business Park and build a new state-of-the-art repair center, continue to grow the business, and even continue to consolidate our efforts here in the city of Port Arthur. And so that's our phase 1 of the plan would be to construct this new repair facility and bring, I guess, currently 35 employees that are currently employed in Orange County, move them to Jefferson County, the Port Arthur area, and continue to expand our business and our services at that location. Yes.
Expect any employment growth by
Definitely.
relocating? And
Definitely.
If you do, what is it?
We have, I believe I submitted some information, but we have growth strategies through our owner through actually 2018, 2019, and additional head count that we will be adding. It's quite an extensive list, I believe, and we should be adding both white collar but the biggest part of it is blue collar workers to that facility.
On the employment side, look like they're moving from 99 to 117, a total of 18 new hires.
Understand, so I just want him to make an announcement for the public so we'll know what we're doing. Okay, I understand it's in writing, but I'd like him to say it, that way we know what.
Yes,
what
sir.
we're approving, yeah. All right.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion, we move forward.
Second.
It's been moved and second to move forward on agenda item number 7. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, to discuss for possible consideration going out for bids for security guard service to serve the Spur 93 Business Park.
Yes, Commissioners, Madam Chairman, S&S investigators are the current security guard service provider for the business park. We had a 3-year, 1 year with 2 years to renew. Those 2 years have expired. We have to go out for bid, and what we asking you guys to go out for bid for continue the services in that business park.
Before we move on, could you rate the service over the year? The service with our tenants?
What's the question?
Service, how has that service been with our tenants?
They have excellent service. You know, we have had problems with security service in the past, but S&S has provided us exceptional service. Yes, sir.
It's been moved and second to go out for bids for security guard service at Spur 93 Business Park. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Number 9, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for proposed lease of space at 501 Proctor Street to Nathan Rivers.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, the board approved construction, and it started this week, Crystal, on the 2nd floor. 3 new office space, 2 of the office space that being constructed. Nathan Rivers would like to lease those 2 space. I don't have the office number, but 203 and 204, something like that. Yeah, he would like to lease 203 and 204. I think it's a total of 392 square feet. Provide you with a $431.20 a month in lease payment every month.
Questions?
We go ahead with it. Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the letter of intent for the lease agreement space to Nathan Rivers. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for proposed lease space to support operations services.
Yes, Madam Chairman. Support operations services. They're currently on a month-to-month lease here in the office down on the 1st floor. Now that the building is built out, we had offered them a permanent space on the 2nd floor. They have put in their request for 215 square feet space that would produce about $236.50 per month lease payment per month for you guys.
We approve it.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 10. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for the King Crawfish Wholesale Distributor, LLC.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, King Crab Crawfish, LLC, currently, they sent a letter of intent. Currently, they're on Guffway, 3100 block of Guffway. They're inquiring about purchasing the additional 3 acres that you have on Highway 73 and building a warehouse for his distribution center, approximately 7,000 square foot warehouse there. I thought he's not here today. No, he's not here. But his NAISC code does meet the guidelines.
Is that going to be light commercial?
That is light commercial.
Light commercial?
Yes.
Questions? Was that a question, Mr. Walker? Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 11. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move on to reports, marketing and business recruitment. Mr. Bettis?
Renata had to go home sick today,
Okay.
and she did not leave a report with us, so I'd like to table that one until next week.
Operational report.
Where is Crystal?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to let you guys know that we are continuing to work very closely with the Port Arthur Industrial Group on our training efforts and making sure that Port Arthur residents are getting the maximum amount of training so that we can fill some of those positions out there with the industry and their subcontractors. So we continue to work very hard with PAIG and making sure that we continue those efforts and nail something down with them soon. Other in training, we have several on-the-job training opportunities that may be in the works. Hopefully soon we will come to you. There are several companies that are interested in possible on-the-job training program, using some of that program that we have to offer here, where we offer them a certain amount of training reimbursement if they're willing to train some residents while they're on the job. They can learn to move up to the next level. So hopefully soon we can see some more companies taking part in that program that we have. Southern Staffing, a couple of meetings ago, you all approved us to enter into an agreement with Southern Staffing as the agency that will streamline our employment efforts that we've been trying to do here. What they will be doing, for those of you that weren't here for that, we brought them in so that they can help us, again, streamline some of the efforts that we've already done as far as first source of referral of Port Arthur residents to any company that is willing to work with us for that first source referral. Unfortunately, we are unable to screen those applicants as an EDC, so what they will do for us is look through the pool of applicants that we have in Port Arthur that may fit those guidelines for the employer, what they're looking for. They will bring them in, screen them, do the interviews. They are even able to do drug screening and background checks if the employer is needing that. So hopefully they will be able to help us do a better job in making better referrals to the companies. They did start their very first one with us with Port Arthur Recycling. So hopefully soon I'll have a report for you all on how that went. That would have been our very first company we're working with them on, and hope to work with them some more once PAIG and the EDC can come to something whenever we come to our training efforts. Let's see. AWC, that is an incentive agreement that you all approved last meeting that did go before council and has been approved. So that is something we are going to start working with them on pretty soon. CTEX Construction, Mr. Baptiste did mention to you all that they've started. They are finishing the build out on the second floor for us, and the movie screen that will be on the outside of the building, on the side of the building near the parking lot. Just a heads up, if you do come in within the next couple of weeks, they will be demolishing the women's restroom ceiling. So there will be a hole. It might be out of commission for a while. Other than that, they won't be doing too much bother. Other than noise, they'll be doing work up there and on the side of the building. Also, a couple of meetings ago, we also came to you about possibly make an application for a grant for a disaster loan, being able to use some funds to offer a disaster loan for small businesses. We just received notification they've opened up that grant once again, so we will be making an application here in the next week. We'll be submitting the application, and hopefully we'll be able to receive some funding so that we can offer disaster loans for small businesses. Any questions?
You say loans or grants?
It will be a forgivable loan. If it's approved, it will be forgivable. if approved.
Understood.
Yes.
What's that loan through?
That's Southeast Texas.
What was the question, Mr. Henry?
Yes.
It's a loan?
Well, we're applying for a grant to provide forgivable loans.
Oh, I see,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
see. Foundation of Southeast Texas.
Foundation of Southeast Texas, right.
And so we would receive the grant?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The only other thing I want to say before Crystal leaves is, this is January, I think the end of January, you go take, Crystal is going out to take an exam for her CECD, and hopefully Crystal will come back as a certified economic developer. Wish you luck.
No pressure there.
No pressure at all, no pressure at all.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
On my report, the only thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to need both Crystal and Joni to help, they have been working very hard with this event that we're going to have on the 31st of January and the 1st of February. We have currently arranged 10 telephone calls with various individuals from the various entities to speak to the facilitator prior to the facilitator coming down here. Ms. Holm, I think I have you on that list, right? And it's city council people, we had port people, we have school district people. So he's going to get a feel for what those folks think about who we are and what we could be prior to getting here. We have narrowed this thing down to a day and a half. The second day going to be focused on hurricane recovery, disaster recovery. We have a subject matter expert from Florida that will be here with us. We also have EDA. We're trying to bring in EDA to be a part of this thing. So it should be a very learning event. I don't know how many
RSVPs right now it's 15, but we have to the 18th.
yeah, we have 15 folks that have RSVP. Those of you guys, I don't know if any of you guys call in yet, but y'all need to let us know because we're doing head count for food. If you don't, you just get a cookie.
She'll send you an invitation, Andrew.
Mr. Bettis, are you going to mention anything else about that?
That's all I
Any
have.
of the board members have any questions about that?
It's kind of a summit, but I mean, for our new member, that's for lack of a better word, it's a summit meeting between us, city government, port, drainage district, all the entities that operate in Port Arthur, and maybe try to help us all get on the same page with what we want to do going forward.
Going to mention anything about the financial report?
Financial report. Again, Rachel having a foggy wheel, so she had to go. I'm going to start off with, I don't know if she have it in y'all package, but the first thing I have is sales tax revenue for prior year. And we have collected sales tax through December, and the total sales tax for the city is about $3.6 million. Of that, $1.2 million is for EDC. Remember, a portion of our money is going to the city for street and maintenance, so that 1.2, of that 1.2, we have about, if you look at it, about 900,000, and we have about 300,000 going to city street maintenance thus far. And every month, I will be able to show you guys exactly what's going on here. On the next page, I give you guys a revenue. And this is a projection of what we expect to happen, what we see. You know, it talks about expected sales tax. It talks about interest revenue that we're looking for, and the revenue, the interest we look at is the interest that we receive from our new market tax credit payment. The loan payment is from iTex that you guys get. And we have the rental income is from the rental of the space in this building that come to you guys. The business park is your business park assessment revenue that you guys receive. Sale of land, we estimate five acres of sale of land. I put in here five acres and misdemeanor about 50,000. But after the end of the year, when all things are paid, you should have about $6.1 million in the bank. And the last portion of this thing, it shows you, if you look at the last two columns, it shows you what we actually budget. Year-to-date is what we actually spent on that particular line item, and the balance that you guys have left in that line item to spend. Any question on some of this?
Any questions?
Madam Chairman, we do have a couple of items to present in executive session, and also the board can receive some additional information we provided to Mr. Baptiste as regards the incentives. And then if we're not complete, then we can adjourn and come back at 7 o'clock to conduct the annual meeting and then go back into executive session. It's a pleasure of the board. If you want to go ahead and begin the executive session, we could do so.
I think we can go ahead. We have about 20 minutes, and we can go ahead and move to executive session at this time. Ask that we recess to executive session at 6:41.
Commissioner Dorsey. Commissioner Marks. Commissioner Wyckoff. Commissioner Pena. Commissioner Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Stickley. Thank you. Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is to discuss for possible consideration the selection of the president of the board of the directors for the corporation.
And again, historically, the board elects each officers individually by nomination and second, and then if there's more than one, it could be so, and then you would vote on them in the order that there was a motion and a second to just place a name into nomination.
Nominate Ingrid Holmes.
I nominate Darrell Anderson.
Second.
At this time, there are two nominations on the board. All those in, can we have a hand count, please? All
I
those,
think you would need a hand count
Yes.
for each candidate. So.
yes. All those in favor of Darrell Anderson, please raise your hand. For the president.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought we were down to the vice president.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
That's okay. You
Can I
can't-
still?
Go ahead. I mean, you have two nominations. Let's go ahead and vote,
Yeah.
and then we can conclude.
Can I rescind my?
No, you
Just
just
don't
okay,
vote.
just everyone
Just
just
don't
vote.
vote.
So
Okay,
just
okay.
don't vote.
I apologize.
she asked for the votes for Reverend Anderson, so everyone just needs to raise their hand that is going to vote for Reverend Anderson.
All those in favor of Reverend Anderson? Mr. Wyckoff? All those in favor of Ingrid Holmes? No, well, I'm not going to vote.
You can, everyone this board gets to vote for any proposition before the board. So there's no recusals.
Okay. There being a majority for Ingrid Holmes, did we do a hand count on that? Yeah, well, okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you all again for considering me as president of the EDC. I appreciate it. The second item is to discuss for possible consideration the selection of a vice president of the board of directors of the corporation.
I nominate Darrell Anderson.
Second.
Any other nominations? There being no other nominations, Mr. Anderson?
Still vote, just still.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. To discuss for possible consideration the selection of the secretary of the board of directors of the corporation.
Which is currently Mr. Smith. Is that-
Mr. Pete, who's
Mr. Smith.
Smith?
Oh, well, that was, okay.
I nominate Dallas Smith, secretary.
It's been any other nominations? All those in favor of Mr. Smith serving as secretary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. To discuss for possible consideration the selection of the treasurer of the board of directors.
I nominate Mr. Marks.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the actual, what are the actual duties of the treasurer?
Well, I can go back in there and pull the bylaws, but effectively, you're to work with it, and you're the person that Rachel would go to if there were any questions relative to the finances of the corporation. You all have effectively outsourced inside Rachel, but external financial controls as well as auditing have been outsourced to the city, and then their independent auditing firm, which then also audits you all as a component entity of the city.
Second.
It's been moved and second to nominate Mr. Marks. Any other nominations? All those in favor of Mr. Marks serving as treasurer, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we'd like to adjourn the meeting of the of the annual meeting and go back into executive session on the regular meeting. No.
I thought it said vice. I was looking for that paper, and when you said it, I didn't even snap. Yeah, but I think you do great. No, I think you do it.
Which kind are you talking about? You're not talking like basic or anything like that, are you?
He gave me another one.
I have the one for, okay. I have the schedule for, I think I did.
Already hits.
I mean, all I have is the basic training, where you had that, and the sales tax is all I have copies of. You know, this is all I have right now. Is that what you're not interested in that though, are you?
It's heavier than.
We're gonna,
Because this is basic only.
Joni, and can we go ahead and reconvene and then we'll let you.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
Joni, will you do, like to call the meeting back to order? Would you do a roll call for me,
Sure
please?
will. Darrell Anderson, John Sharapis, Michelle Dorsey, Kenneth Marks, Richard Wyckoff.
Here.
Warren Pena.
Here.
Ingrid Holmes.
Here.
David Stickley. We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, there being no further items and nothing, no agenda items to,
I move the meeting
to
be
vote on.
adjourned.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? See you all next month. At the summit, yes. Please don't forget the summit.